those that may come across my charity work, my company, and all the process and the progress that I am making in life. I am very grateful that you got to this video eventually. Um, there's a book that I was able to grab and read a few cases about, and it's called Poverty and Freedom: Case Studies on Global Economic Development. And what's interesting is that because I work with international countries, different international students, and even in classrooms, outside of classrooms, and even with other processes, not just in publishing, I really do see a very huge need for a few along the way, no matter where you come from, to consider different cases. In grad school studies, as I continued coursework, I was able to look and review scholarly articles that included different countries and different viewpoints of education into other countries. And so this one in particular is a case study. Even on the legal side, it's very interesting. This one's called Navigating a Crisis. This one's coming from the capital of Argentina. And the viewpoint basically talks about the partnership of institutions and those that work with an audit. And with policies and salaries being included, it talks about the banking establishment as well. So basically, it gives a nonprofit process that they were going through, and then it goes through the country's background. In the early years of the 20th century, Argentina was one of the most promising nations on the globe. Great to hear. um, Government spending as a percentage of GDP more than doubled from less than 10% in the 1930s to 30% in 2000. Looking at numbers and the viewpoints of another country really opens up a person's eyes into how to better view some of our nonprofits and those that go in even for charity work or even for donations, those that would like to give and don't understand all of those types of things. We're all busy people. We don't all want to read a case. So if you are inclined to share some of your cases, please do. Um, there's a viewpoint of the Secretary of Trade, central bank, even for a foundation. This one's a different foundation, and representatives at two other think tanks that had to go through this process with them to better acclimate the situation for their own government. And basically, it says Fraser's data set mostly comes from the Doing Business report from the World Bank, which measures the ease of doing business in 189 economies. Basically, as you follow along with the case, they give different key point people and then they plan out the reform. So there's a workplace reform from plan to policy and what was going on and implemented. And I thought this was very much needed for a few different viewpoints of my own while I work on my charity work and branching into even places like Argentina. A unique challenge of this particular nonprofit that they were working with was figuring out how to motivate Argentines out of complacency. I'm going to leave it as that. It's a very interesting book edited by Matt Warner. Um, it's the part of the Atlas Network. Let me see what year, 2019. So not that far back, it's 2025. Not too far back on the research in here. I love the different reads in here. I love the cases presented. I love the views from women to properties and the rights, the model of the strategic research program, even. I forgot I read about their viewpoints, and I guess litigation on identifying your audience, obtaining government data, even on messaging, different viewpoints on strategy as well. A very good and interesting read. It's been fun going through this book. Um, those of you involved with philanthropy, thank you for contributing to the hearts of those that do give, those that do not give and are more on the receiving end and receive back. Thank you for even being a part of this process of give and take and sharing and continuing the education across the nation, across the world. I wish I was able to serve in the Peace Corps. That was one of my thoughts, especially when a friend of mine had shared her experience. And I got to at least give a shout out for that because you don't end up always in the same nation, right? You end up somewhere, someplace, and sometimes some people don't come back. So, all my love, thank you for being a part of all that we work for, even in our own communities and our own economy.